mice. Mice are great. They're great. But you might have noticed that I'm not holding an Apple mouse here. Now you might think, Apple guy, isn't this channel all about Apple and anti-PC and just vintage Apple computers? Well, no, it's a tech channel. I will be uploading, the kind of videos that I want to see, which, don't worry, they'll all be tech related. But here's the thing, I just want to get this out of the way. If there's one thing Apple is bad at, it's mice. It's mice. Apple mice are shit. Here's the thing. The design is great, okay? They look great. They look great, but they're bad. They're just bad. They're uncomfortable, not ergonomic at all. They lack two buttons. They don't have a proper scroll wheel. They're just bad. To me, they're utter garbage. Now the thing is, Apple mice, they look great. They look great. They look good, but they're just very uncomfortable. Like, nothing about them is good except for the design, in my opinion. So no, I don't use Apple mice. I just don't. I have them, and well, yeah, I do use them occasionally, but I hate to. I absolutely hate to. So here is my, rather budget mouse of choice. It's a Razer DeathAdder Essential. Now I picked this up for only $30, so it's a great budget gaming, or really any for any use mouse. It doesn't break the bank, and it's an iconic mouse. It's the DeathAdder, has been around since 2006. As you can see here, over 10 million have been sold of these. Yeah, and it's Razer. You can't really go wrong with Razer. They started the whole thing with the Razer boom slang. So the DeathAdder, in my opinion, is just a great series of mice. So that's why I picked it. But let's get into that later. The reason why I picked up this mouse and why this will be just a great mouse for me is, I want you to see this. I have used some seriously horrible mice in the past, dude. Like, look at this stuff. It is horrible. So I'm just really glad that I finally, upgraded. So let's get into the review. Okay, so let's open it up here. Okay. I mean, there's not like a bunch of stuff in here. You have a manual, your classic Razer sticker, and, the mouse. I do appreciate the fact that they're not using a bunch of plastic to, like, package this. And here it is. Now, the packaging is quite nice for, such a cheap product. This is like, a 30 euro mice, and you get a nice box, and you get a great mice, and you get a great mouse. So win-win. Now this, I can immediately feel that is a rather large mouse. It is not for small hands. Even has a protective cover on the USB plug, and it's nice and green. Nice accent there. The one thing that does stand out is the cheap plastic USB cable. That is a downside, but again, this is a budget mouse. This is like $30, so can't expect like too much from this. But the mouse itself feels very premium. It's very comfortable. The clicks don't feel cheap. Feels very tactile. I like it. The scroll wheel is very nice. I like it. The buttons here on the side also feel great, very tactile. I love the feel of these. Also has side grips, as you can see. Yeah, I really like it. Nice shape, comfortable. I'm happy so far. Let's plug it in. Let's talk sensor first. The sensor goes as high as 6400 dpi. You can change the sensitivity in Razer's Synapse software along with other things like lighting. Notice it doesn't have RGB, but you can change the lights from being static to having a sort of pulsating effect. And you can also configure the buttons. Again, all of this is nothing unheard of today, but 6400 dpi is still very fast nonetheless. As comparison, the Apple Magic Mouse 2 has a DPI of 1300. Speaking of buttons, the DeathAdder Essential has 5 programmable buttons, or your left click, right click, middle, or scroll wheel click, and 2 extra buttons on the side. Nothing special, it's very simplistic, but still better than most mice since you have more buttons that you can use, for example, as shortcuts while web browsing, video editing, gaming, etc. The middle click, back, and forward buttons aren't hyper responsive because they feel like normal buttons, but the left and right click definitely feel like they're on a hair trigger and feel optimized for extremely fast clicks with almost no effort, so those are probably hyper responsive. Overall, the buttons on this thing feel great. On the button you have some nice mouse pads. They feel smooth and overall just good. I have no idea how long these last though. The mouse slides pretty well. This mouse is not a super lightweight but still very decent, weighing in at around 96 grams. Great for portability and fast-paced games, or just easy to move around without having to use much force. A heavier mouse like the Logitech MX Master 3 or the extremely heavy Asus ROG Spota are better for accuracy in games and stuff though. It all comes down to personal preference, but I know most people prefer lightweight or standard mice. Note that this is 96 grams excluding the cable that can sometimes feel and just be a little chunky and stiff as well though. This thing being wired is also one of the reasons why you can get it for so cheap nowadays, of course. Now let's move over to the shape. This is a very well-known mouse in terms of ergonomics. The DeathAdder is an icon and has been around since 2006. The shape feels very comfortable to me. Keep in mind that my hands are quite large though. Now unfortunately this is not an ambidextrous mouse as you can see here. This is a right-handed mouse. Left-handed people can use it, but it won't be very comfortable. It's more subtle than most right-handed mice though. There's an indentation on the left side and you can see a more pronounced curve on the right side. I have larger hands, so I usually end up clawing most mice I come across. This is a comfortable mouse and I can rest my full palm on it. The indent on the left side is a comfortable place to rest your thumb, and the right side is a comfortable place to rest your pinky. The left and right buttons also have a little bit of a curve to them, so your fingers kind of fall into an ideal position and just comfortable position. A really nice addition is the rubber grips on the side. They're extremely grippy and you barely have to touch them or grip them to lift up the whole mouse. It feels good. They feel good. They have a nice texture to them. This means that you also don't have to use a lot of force or pressure to move the mouse, as it kind of sticks to your fingers. Let's take a look at the lighting. You've got the illuminated scroll wheel and illuminated Razer logo. It isn't RGB, but you can change some settings in Razer software though. These come in black with green accents or in white with cool white accents, but I couldn't get my hands on a white one since they were out of stock at the store I bought this at this afternoon. It feels relatively premium. However, don't forget that I'm comparing this to Apple mice like the Magic Mouse, which is made out of metal and acrylic. So to most standard mouse users, this will probably feel very premium. Now my final conclusion. This is in my opinion still one of the best gaming mice, or just best budget gaming mouse out there. Now notice how I said gaming? I don't even game or barely game on new computers. I game a lot on vintage computers and mainly on vintage and new consoles, but bought this mouse because of its good reputation and great performance. The price-performance ratio of this thing is amazing. This is a genuine Razer product for cheap and should be taken seriously. No, this video is not sponsored by Razer. I'll be using this mouse to edit. It being light is great because I move my cursor around the screen pretty quickly, and I also take my stuff with me all the time because I'm a film student and I'm usually on the move. Also, the extra programmable buttons will definitely come in handy for shortcuts in, for example, Premiere Pro. The most important part is, of course, the classic ergonomic design and great quality for cheap. So yeah, I do actually recommend this mouse. I do recommend the Razer DeathAdder Essential. It's insanely great. Okay, that about wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the iApple Guide. This was my review of the Razer DeathAdder Essential. Okay. Now, I have more episodes coming up, and because I don't upload that often, I have been known to not upload that often, I have a little teaser. So, well, here it is. And here's another one. That's the teaser. So yeah, I'll just let you figure out what those are. Anyways, if you like this kind of content, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. And if you want more, you can also join my Discord server or check out all of my social media. Links are in the description. And I'll see you in the future.